What's up, everybody? We are live. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Corvette Weekly. Welcome back to Vet Syndicate. We got all kinds of names going on here. But guys, this is now the 30th episode. So we have done 30 of these live videos. Yeah, that's something to be pretty freaking proud of. I'll be honest with you. Like, we should take a second and acknowledge the fact that all of us, well, the guys on this screen have gotten together for, I think, 22 or 23 of those 30 weeks, but that's still a lot. That's over almost half a year.
Dude, it only feels like 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. So it's been a long time. Thank you all for tuning in. I see a bunch of the same names: Jet Driver, Doug Hooks, Drew Packard, 11 Second Eclipse, Bill Thompson, and I saw Whip in here earlier. Yeah, we were talking with him. Who else we got? Bruno, I've seen that name in here before. Kerry Glock, I don't know if I said that yet or not. What is up, guys? So, like I said, if you're just joining, we got 30 weeks of Corvette Weekly going on. So that's a lot of Corvette Weeklies. I appreciate you guys all tuning in. I appreciate all the support. I know I speak for all of us whenever I say that. But the big thing I want to talk to you guys about today is this sign over here to my right. And that is the Vets for Vets car show. So this is something that's happening down in is it Dallas? No, it's
Yeah, it's North Richland Hills, Fort Worth area, but DFW.
Yeah, so the DFW area. I am flying down there to be part of this because it is a Vet Syndicate happening. And Steve and Jason have put on a couple Vet Syndicate shows, and I wanted to be a part of this one. So I will be there as well. But if you guys want to come out, support a good cause, it's from 12 to 3. The address is right there on the screen to my right, to probably to your left. But basically, it's the address of where you're going to want to go to see this thing happening. You can meet up with me, Jason, and Steve. We'll all be there.
Also, Shane Rick will be there, the thumbs up guy.
Shane will also be there. I knew I was going to forget to mention him, but I haven't seen him comment in here yet. So
no, we need him.
All right, so we got Slow Car, Stupid Fast Truck, Doug Hooks, Elijah's in here, Great White North Corvette. What's up? What is up, everyone? So, anyway, guys, we got a lot of C8 Corvette information to cover tonight. As you guys probably have seen by now, some of the C8 Corvettes, the Z06's, are starting to be delivered. The couple dealerships have a couple of them sitting there waiting to go out to the customer. At least one of them is waiting to be delivered to the actual end user as of tomorrow. That would be Speed Phenom's car. That will be going into his possession tomorrow at some point. Pretty cool stuff. So if you guys are waiting for the Z06, it's finally freaking happening. It's finally a real car. I know I say that in a way that's kind of odd, but at the same time, we've been waiting for this thing forever. Now, with that said, yes, Doug Hooks, please. My car next. I'm waiting. One of the 3 dealerships that I'm part of right now, if they can get an allocation, it would be absolutely fantastic. But I don't know. Jet Driver says, Jason, what's up? Kevin Horan, whose car will you be driving? I don't know. Maybe I'll be riding in one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. My wife's taking the C8. I'm taking the C7.
I'll probably ride in the C7 with Jason then. So
yeah.
Unless I can magically make my car get shipped down there, and there's a company that I had been working with about shipping cars, and I'm going to send him a message tonight to see if he can have my car in Texas by Saturday.
Dude, that would be awesome.
Odds are good. The answer to that is going to be no. But
no.
If it's yes, you're going to see that content all over my channel because I will be so blown away by that. But yeah, so Protective Dad Pranks actually said the next thing I was going to talk about was the Vet Syndicate shirts. So any of you guys who pre-ordered the Vet Syndicate shirts, they have started to ship. You'll receive the tracking info from my website, and you can follow that to actually see the shirt arrive at your doorstep. So those are or have been going out. It's a pretty lengthy process because we had a lot of freaking pre-orders. So bear with us. You will get it, I promise. Speed Phenom is taking delivery of his Z06 at the Corvette Museum. That's correct.
Shane, Justin, and I will be picking you up from the airport.
Yeah. So, Shane, I'm flying in, I think, 2 days before you are. I'm flying out of here Wednesday. I think he's coming in Friday, right, Jason?
Yes.
Okay.
Very late Friday.
Okay. Jet Driver, we will have more pre-orders for the shirts here soon, so stay tuned. We'll let you know whenever that time comes. It will be all over the place on our live videos here. But for those of you just joining, guys, check out to my right, to your left, the Vets for Vets. That is the car show that we're going to be running down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Me, Jason, and Steve are going to all be in attendance. You are more than welcome to come out, support a good cause, and hang out and see some cool cars.
It's officially the first time we've all been together. You two have been together, but I've never been there.
Yeah.
That's true. So, guys, this will be the first time I get to meet Steve in person. I've known him for, probably 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
But I've never actually met him. So,
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting show for sure. Slow Car says, is anyone getting the new Z06 at MSRP? I think Speed Phenom got it at MSRP. I'm not 100% sure. I know anybody who bought it from Sioka got it at MSRP. Sioka is great for MSRP stuff, but they're also one of the biggest lists out there. So if you get your name on it, you'll get the car at MSRP in 10 years. I made that part up. It's going to be a while.
And I just put the link. I know it probably doesn't work in the chat, but it's onetribefoundation.org is the foundation that we'll be working with at the Vets for Vets.
Oh, I don't even see it.
It's right above Stupid Fast Truck. Said I just checked the NCM's website webcam.
Yeah, it's not on here. I think I have it set to block links.
Oh, yeah, you probably do. I don't blame you.
Yeah. All right, so yeah.
For everybody else.
Elijah
nobody
said,
else is going to see it though either, huh?
No. Elijah said Speed Phenom Z06 is 185 grand. That is right around what the cost of mine was going to be. I remember we talked about that already, I think, in the Discord. They're expensive cars, man. There is no way around it. That is an expensive car. But before we get too much into that, I did want to have Jason repeat the Foundation. Man, my mind was just going blank there for a second.
It's One Tribe Foundation, and the website is, I'm going to post it, even though I know you won't be able to see it. I can't remember what it is. It's the number 1 and then tribefoundation.org. And what they do is they do a lot of counseling with vets, and we chose this foundation through our friend Tim, Dad's Garage. It's one that he was familiar with. The reason we chose them is because a lot of the foundations that do things with vets, they have a very top-heavy management who make a whole lot of the money, and it's not what we're trying to accomplish. Those people already have their nice homes. I don't care. We want our money going to foundations that are actually, the money's going to get to people who can actually help the veterans. So that's why we chose this foundation.
Cool.
All right, so we got our first Venmo of the night, guys. It comes from Steve Robertson, of course. And he says, in celebration of new Z06 allocations, we're going to talk about that in a second, too. He donated $50. So $50 for the celebration of new Z06 allocations. That is something else we're going to talk about, like I said. We wanted to get into all of this with the Z06 because there's been a lot of news just within the last couple days. We've gone probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 weeks, maybe a whole month without actual good news of the Z06. It's been kind of dry out there. And then all of a sudden GM's like, oh, here's a bunch of information. And we get new allocations coming in November. So if you guys didn't hear this already, the C8 Z06 is going to have more allocations coming in November when we weren't supposed to actually get any until 2023. So now we're getting some this month. I think it's the 16th, November 16th. We're going to hear official information about the allocations, about the constraints of said allocations, all that stuff. So if you're wanting to get this car, you might actually be able to get one before 2023 now if you're number 1 at your dealership like I am. Hopefully my dealership gets at least 1 allocation so I can get this thing. 11-second Eclipse says, helping vets. Yeah, yes. Vets for vets, baby. So, yeah, we are going to, all the proceeds, if basically you show up to the show, it is a free show to get into. And if you choose to donate anything, the proceeds will go to the foundation that Jason was talking about. Yeah, guys, so Dad's Garage, he's the one telling on you guys today. He says, please hit that thumbs up. Less than half watching have hit it. Guys, the thumbs up really, really helps the channel out. It helps us be able to do things like this over here, supporting the vets, running these kind of car shows. Me flying down to Texas to meet up with all of you guys, meet up with Jason and Steve, and make sure that this thing really works well. This is all obviously all cost money, and I'll be honest with you, the flight down to Texas was not cheap. So for some reason, I could fly to Florida and back like 10 times for what it cost me to fly to Texas. I have no idea why.
And that's true, because when I flew to Pennsylvania, I was literally shocked at how expensive it was. I was like, oh my gosh, it was like so much more than when I flew to Miami.
Yeah, I don't get that, because it's the exact same amount of time. Like, it will take me about 2.5 hours to get to Florida. It's about 2.5 hours to get to Texas. It's like the same flight cost.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like, I want to say 3 times the cost to fly to Miami and back just for one way to Philly.
Yeah, I would say
Pittsburgh.
I would say about 3 to 4 times for myself as well. But anyway, guys, yeah, the thumbs up really will help. If you could please hit the thumbs up button, it really helps the channel. Slow car. I like that comment. One other thing I wanted to talk about here, Elijah said, how much does the C7 ZR1 cost? That depends what it cost when it was new versus what they're going for now are 2 very different numbers. So initially, the C7 I bought was $141,000 MSRP. I paid $131,000. So I actually was $10,000 under MSRP. Now I could sell that car for probably between $250,000 and $280,000. So the price has gone up quite a bit. Yeah, so Dad's Garage says, you're supposed to drive a vet down here, Justin. Yeah, I'm going to do my best to get mine down there, guys, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's talk about a little bit of news here. So like I said in the beginning, we got some allocations coming here that you guys are probably here to see and hear more about. And this is it here. So on the midenginecorvetteforum.com, you can see right there, we got November Z06 allocations coming. And this is an official communication from GM to the dealerships talking about the model year 2023 Z06 update. Now, on this official communication, you can see it says the Z06 estimated shipments in cycle 2 of each month, starting with November cycle 2, which is 11/16. Now, later on, we're going to read that shipments actually means allocations, and that was verified by 3 of the bigger dealerships out there, probably Sioka, Criswell, McMulkin, stuff like that, have verified that shipments actually means allocations. So we're going to hear some more allocations. Now, fingers crossed for the fact that hopefully it's more than a couple. I'm hoping for 300-ish at least, maybe, hopefully more. I mean, I would love to see them come out and be like, "Oh, here's 20,000 of these things," but you know, we got to be kind of realistic about this. At some point, it's going to get unrealistic, of course, because we're all hoping that it's going to end a certain way. But at the same time, this is still good news because we weren't expecting any more allocations this year at all. We weren't supposed to get any until 2023. So this is really, really good news for those of you out there waiting for a Z06, especially, like I said, if you're number 1 at your dealership, you could get an allocation and literally have your car built, maybe shipped to you before the end of the year. That'd be pretty cool. Slow Car says, how much do you need to make to afford a Z06? It depends. There's a pretty large window of what you need to make to afford a car like that, especially if you're good with money, because at the end of the day, to really afford one of these things, and if you're bad with money, you got to make a couple $100,000 a year. But if you're good with money, you can get one of these things making 50 to 80.
So let me put it to you this way. I spend $3.25 every day for lunch.
He does.
I'm like a dog. I eat the same thing from Taco Bell, and I spend $3.25 with tax.
He does.
Yep. And that's the thing is I don't want to say that you're rich, Jason, but the rich stay rich by spending wisely. You can easily be rich and become poor by spending poorly. So
Right.
this is kind of what I'm saying. You can do it both ways. You can be rich, spend poorly, and be poor. You can be more on the poor side and spend wisely and look like you're rich. So it's kind of a loaded question is what I'm getting at.
Right.
Slow cars asking getting a Taco Bell for $3.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, I used to get stuff from Taco Bell for $3 too. I have no idea how Jason keeps it at $3. The stuff that I used to get, it now costs me almost $20.
So they have a chicken chipotle ranch burrito. I get that. And then they have a cheesy bean and rice burrito. That's $1. So it's $2, $1 for my food. So it's $3 with tax, $3.25. And when
you don't get a drink?
No, I always bring an ice chest full of beer. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. I don't even drink alcohol, but no, I drink a Gatorade or water. I bring it in my ice chest every day because it's already paid for. We buy it for our house, and that's what I drink.
All right. So G Smith says, Justin, would you sell your ZR1 for a profit right now? Seems like the prices go up because of flippers. That sucks. G Smith, I would not sell my ZR1 for a profit. My ZR1 is, I've had a lot of cars in my life, and my ZR1 is literally my favorite vehicle I've ever driven. I don't think I'll ever be able to sell it. And the sad part is if I sold it right now, I could buy a new Z06 with cash, pay off my TRX, and still have money in my pocket. It's financially, it is a very smart decision to sell the ZR1, but I just can't do it. All right, what else we got here? Yeah, Amber says the car will never leave, of course. She doesn't want me to ever sell the ZR1 either. C7 ZR1 is the one I have. Anyway, let's talk a little bit more about these allocations. So on the mid-engine Corvette forum.com, we get a little bit more information talking about this because he does actually say somewhere in this thread, and I can't remember off the top of my head where it's at now, that we're going to hear more information about it on 11/16. So on the 16th of November, we're going to hear specific details on the allocation process. So the big one being how many we're going to get, how many each dealership's going to get. The dealerships will then know, they'll be able to take your order. We'll say, the bigger dealerships like Sioka will probably get 3 to 5, if I had to guess, more. So that means they'll know 3 to 5 more orders that they can submit. They'll also be alerted that day of constraints. So we'll get that information on the 16th or 17th as well. Hopefully the whole Z07 constraint is gone by then. And then we can actually order this car and get exactly what we want. And like I said, if we get a couple hundred, maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe we'll get a couple thousand, would be pretty cool. I'm doubting that very much so, though. If I had to guess, it's going to be probably between 1 and 300. But, I mean, like I said, at this point, anything's better than nothing because we weren't even expecting to get this many. Jason, tell me the truth. I was with you and Carlisle. Tell the truth. What are you talking about? What's happening here?
What he eats?
Oh, I don't drink alcohol.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So let me rephrase it. I don't regularly drink alcohol. I'll have a beer or two in there, but yeah, I'm not big on drinking.
All right, so Jose Watkins says, Justin, are you going to try to fit all 3 cars in your garage when you get a C8 Z06? No. So it's still kind of up in the air as to what I'm going to do. Ideally, I want to build another garage in my backyard. But for the time being, the ZR1, if I get a Z06, that car is going to take the majority of the spotlight on YouTube. The ZR1 would probably go into storage for the time being, and I'd swap them out from time to time. But for the most part, it's going to go into some sort of storage where my Z06 would then be in the garage. My TRX sits underneath the deck, so it's kind of already covered. And right now, my C6 Z06 is sitting out, but that is going to be getting shipped to Florida soon, where it will be in a garage during the winter time here in Pennsylvania. So that's my crazy plan for all this stuff. Smart move, Justin, says Doug Hooks. Thank you. Smart. Okay. Mm-hmm. I didn't really think that was that smart, but I'm glad that you guys do because it makes me feel better about my decision. Anyway, let's move on to some more of the information here. I'm trying to find, if you guys haven't seen the most recent video I put out, Matt Beaver actually did some legwork for us and found the cars that have been built already. The Z06s that have been built are in the shaded area here, and the ones that haven't been built yet are in the white. And those ones are at 3400 status. So basically they will be built soon. They just haven't been built yet. And we have quite a list here. So again, the grayed out ones are already built. The white ones are waiting to be built and will be built very soon because they're all, these white ones you see here are all at 3400 status. And interestingly enough, there's like 10 for Sioka on here. I didn't actually count them. I bet there's probably more than that actually. There's actually one in here for Raceway Chevrolet, which I think is funny because that's where I bought my ZR2 Colorado from. It's not too far from here. I'm surprised they got any because it's a pretty small dealership. Got 3 of them in here for Whitmoyer. I know the first one that's already been built for Whitmoyer was not for street speed. So I know someone in here is going to say that that first car for Whitmoyer that has been built is not street speeds. The second 2 that haven't been built yet but are at 3400 status could be his, but I don't know. I don't think he's actually getting it from Whitmoyer, if I remember correctly. But yeah, guys, Shane says we only got 34 thumbs up. Is that accurate? That seems
No,
like
it's
very
72 on here.
72?
Yeah.
Okay.
Refresh the browser.
Yeah,
Well, I think he's driving.
He said he's driving, so we'll give him a break on this one.
But
yeah, guys,
did not look.
Even at 72, we could use a little bit more of these guys. It will really help.
Yes.
Anyway, let's move on to the next thing, guys. We actually have a video from Zippity's garage. He went over to Sioka and got the video of some of these awesome looking Z06s sitting out front. I mean, I always say I'm not really a fan of Elkhart Lake blue, but every time I see it in photo, I'm like, man, that is a nice blue. So we got Elkhart Lake sitting beside. It looks like one of those is a 70th anniversary edition. And then white, and then the pearl white, and then at the end there we got some carbon flash. So right in the front here we got 5 cars sitting there. Even though I read that Sioka said that they had 6 delivered, only 5 in this particular photo. But either way, it's pretty cool. We get to see these things literally sitting in front of the dealership. Like, these things are actually showing up. I know for me, whenever I saw some of these pictures, I was like, this can't possibly be real. This car's taken forever, and here it is actually showing up. Yeah, it's pretty cool. What do you guys think, though? Have any of you been told that your car is ready? Other than Dr. Corvette, I know he has one on order. I know someone else in here does too, but are any of your cars actually built and ready to be picked up anytime soon? That'd be really cool to have somebody say yes to that question. Any word on colors and combo rares Z06s yet? No, nothing really a whole lot. 11-second clip says, Justin, I thought the same thing about the blue in the photo. It looks great. Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like, I'm not a fan of Elkhart Lake blue, but I'm not really a fan, no offense to Jason either, but I'm not really a fan of the Accelerate yellow. But something about it on the Z06 especially, it totally looks different.
Well, with all due respect, you have the right to be wrong. So, because here's the thing. I don't know how many you've seen in person, but I'm going to tell you right now, seeing them on the road, like I see them in Corvette World all the time.
Yeah. I
don't go, dude, I love that color. I see it in my garage in the dim light, of my garage. I don't have Steve's garage lighting. I'm just like, out on the road and out in the light is a polar opposite difference. I saw one the other day and I'm like super excited. I'm driving, taking photos of it. I saw one today, and because it's kind of a, crappy rainy day, it looked more green than yellow, but it stuck out. Like, it just caught my eye. It was like a turd in a punch bowl, man. You will see it immediately. So it's, to me, see, we're talking about it. It's an exotic color. You know what I mean? The mid-engine Corvette has an exotic look to it. I think a standard yellow would be, I don't want to say boring because, I love the yellow, but I feel like being mid-engine, semi-exotic looking, it needs a more exotic yellow.
Yeah. All right. So first off, I gotta address the metaphor that you used there. What was it?
It turned a punch bowl.
Turd in a punch bowl. Okay.
It
Interesting.
hurt.
Anyway, Elijah says that the Accelerate Yellow looks perfect on a C8 Z06. It does.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll reserve my judgment. I haven't seen a whole lot of the Accelerate Yellow in person, and I'm going to spend some time down in Texas with Jason in his car. So maybe next Monday I'll have a little something different to say about this.
Well, you know what's funny is Steve loved it so much that he literally was like, I love this color, and if I hadn't already ordered red, I would probably do yellow. Tim from Dad's Garage has never been even a huge fan of the C8. And when he saw mine, he's like, dude, I love it. His wife's like, no, I want that color. I want that color. He's like, we can't have two yellows between me, him, and Steve. So yeah, he's doing a different color, but
That car gets attention because I drive mine, and I know people look. But when I drove yours the other day to XPEL, I mean, everybody's looking on the highway. That car just stands out.
it does.
And that's the big thing is with a car that looks like the C8, it actually has an exotic look about it. So when you get an exotic color on it, which is why I've been talking so long about GM giving us a green and maybe a purple, because those are exotic colors. And if you put an exotic color on a car that already looks exotic, people are going to assume it's an exotic. Like, that's just the way it goes. That's why out of the two, like I'm definitely with you, Steve. I'm more of a red guy on my cars, but out of those two, driving down the road, Jason's is almost guaranteed to get more looks because his color is more exotic.
Yeah.
Bright too. It's nice.
Yeah, it's
Bill Smith says, and I'm going to read it exactly like he typed it. TJ Hunt, Stradman, and Amelia have the first number allocations with Matt Bieber. It's not, his last name's not Bieber. I hope you did that on purpose. I really do, because it's funnier if you did. But his name's actually Matt Beaver. But either way, that's probably legit, because Whitmoyer is getting 3 allocations, and those 3 would actually be the ones that would probably get it over street speed. But what's funny about that is I didn't meet him. I saw TJ Hunt at SEMA a couple days ago, and we're going to talk about my SEMA experience here in a minute too, because I've gotten a lot of requests about video that I filmed there. I didn't film any video, and we'll talk about why in a minute. Yeah, we'll talk about why. But actually, let's talk about it now. So, guys, first year I've ever been to SEMA in my entire life was this past year, and it was we just got back on Saturday. So, an entire week we were in Vegas. I managed to win almost $3,000 at the casino, which was freaking mind blowing. It's awesome, especially since I was down $1,000 at one point. But I won $3,000. Just absolutely mind-blowing experience in Vegas, period, let alone SEMA, which is like, take the largest car show you've ever been to and multiply it by like 400, and that's SEMA. And that's the thing, is it was just so overwhelming. I literally didn't even get to see everything at that show. So every day that we were there walking around, your feet are bleeding because you're walking so much. I literally didn't even get to see everything. And I spent a lot of time talking to some Corvette guys and some Chevy dudes, not that Chevy dude, but just, Chevy people. Even though Chevy wasn't there, Chevy pulled out of the show, which is very disappointing, but they weren't there at all. I talked to a lot of the people that sponsor the channel, Anti-Gravity Batteries, Fantic, that I just did a video on one of their vacuum cleaners. I talked to some future possible sponsors as well. So a lot of really good things happened at the show, and I didn't really have a minute to even pull out a camera and start videoing anything that would have made sense to video. I could have recorded my entire experience there, and I doubt that would have been overly entertaining to anybody on the channel, because there wasn't a lot of Corvette stuff. There was one really solid Corvette interaction, and that's something I feel like you guys are going to see possibly later on the channel. So, yeah. And I mean, yeah, Blown 6 Gen says the same thing. SEMA's great time, but it's just so much to look at. I mean, if I would have busted out a camera, I could have been there for probably 2 weeks and still not covered half of what was there. Somebody said, Jet Driver said, wait, you said you weren't going to gamble. I wasn't going to. Peer pressure, man. My wife, my friend that I went with, they're all just do it. Just go over to the roulette machine. You can't lose. Yeah, I lost $300 like instantly. But then then later they talked me into putting 1,000 down on black on roulette, and it hit black, and I won 1,000 back. So I was like, all right. And then I was smart with what I did from there, and I won about $3,000, which is pretty cool. I like it. I would not recommend going there to do that specifically because odds are good you're going to lose. But
do you know how much money I've lost in Vegas?
none. Yeah, because you probably don't gamble at all, huh? I don't really either. I'm not a gambler. Like Jason's been to my place. I live like 20 minutes away from a casino.
Yeah.
Actually, I live 20 minutes one way and maybe half an hour another way from another casino. There's 2 casinos within half an hour drive of me. And I never go to them. I don't gamble at all. Because, I mean, my luck is typically not very good. Now, I will tell you that my luck in Vegas obviously changed that a little bit. But Las Vegas equals lost wages. Yeah. That's pretty much the way. I would definitely say that's the case. I got lucky. And I highly doubt it would ever happen again. If I ever go back there, I guarantee you I'd lose all the 3,000 I won. So
Steve's a regular at the one not far from him.
WinStar.
Right
by
Blue Star.
I wave at Tim from Dad's Garage every time I go by.
Uh-huh.
I might be going Friday night, actually. You'll be getting your text messages, I'm sure.
Jet Driver says, we know you don't gamble, Jason. You eat Taco Bell daily, LOL. Actually, no, eating Taco Bell daily is kind of a gamble, too. It's a gamble in its own way.
I'm just gambling with my health. Dude, long term.
The thing is, my entire life, I've had food poisoning 3 times. My entire life. All 3 times were from Taco Bell. Every time I've ever gotten sick from food, it's from Taco Bell.
Mine was Sonic, and I've never been back.
Yeah, it's always Taco Bell. It's always the chicken, too.
So, and you continue to go?
Yeah, I can't stop myself. Sometimes I mean, here's the thing. Like, if you eat it every day like you do, I can't believe that you haven't gotten sick. But like, I'll eat it like once every couple weeks, and that's okay. But it's like, if you go a couple days in a row eating Taco Bell, you're guaranteed you're going to get sick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's probably an oversimplification, but you know what I mean.
Hey, I'm just trying to make sure
11-second eclipse. Yeah. I'm not gonna read it, but you can read it on the screen, Jason.
I saw it.
Yeah.
11-second eclipse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. I'm just trying to make sure that, like, down the road when we start having to eat bugs and stuff, that I'm good, man. I've been eating Taco Bell for 7 years. I'll be good.
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah. G Smith says this is out of control. So funny. Full moon too. That's probably what it is. It takes every now and then we have a Corvette Weekly that's literally just us being weirdos.
Screwing around.
Maybe it is a full moon thing.
Yeah.
I didn't notice the last time that it happened like this, where things went off the rails, that if it was a full moon or not.
But see, here's the thing. This is our pre live stream conversations, and post live stream conversations are like this. You know, when we get on live, we're like, oh, yes, I would agree. Yeah. That's not how we are most of the time.
Yeah. And it is a little bit better whenever we get on here and we're, actually like just car guys doing the car guy thing. But I do like to get information out. Like when we get on here before our live and even afterwards, it's more of just 3 friends hanging out, talking loosely car stuff. But yeah. With that said, let's talk a little bit more car stuff. We talked about the video of the C8s getting delivered, and that's pretty cool. Those are awesome looking cars there. It looks like, for the most part, what do we got? Maybe 1 convertible. I can't tell. That picture's too small, but it looks like the Elkhart Lake Blue one looks like a coupe, and then at least 1 convertible beside it. Maybe the rest of those are convertibles too. I can't tell for 100%. But either way, moving on. The next bit is from the Corvette blogger, and it's talking about 6 2023 Corvette Z06's arriving at Rick Hendrick's City Chevrolet. What I think is cool about this one is that out of the 6, 5 of them are black, and 5 of them are basically the exact spec that I would have chosen. Like, there's the one white one there is actually the 70th anniversary edition. I think these are all actually 70th anniversaries. I can't tell actually if that one there is, but they could be black or they could be carbon flash. But that one white one in the background is definitely a 70th anniversary. Pretty cool though. These pictures really, whenever I saw these pictures start coming out, I got excited again. Like I started to lose a little bit of excitement about the Z06 because it's just felt like such a dragging on situation and we're not really getting anywhere, it seems. Now these things are finally starting to show up. We're getting pictures of them at the dealership. We're getting videos of them getting unloaded at the dealership. It's starting to get exciting again. And even though I know a lot of you guys out there are going to disagree because you're number, 4,800 at Sioka or whatever, that is tough. And I mean, I trust me, I understand it. But for any of you guys out there that are in the top 10 at your dealership, like there's a good chance you could actually get this car before the end of the year. And that's pretty freaking awesome. Mark D says, how many are sold? I would say every single one of those. Those are all sold orders at this point, if I had to guess. Bill Smith says, how do you guys feel about the price difference between a loaded C7 Z06 and a C8 Z06? To be honest with you, if we compare the newest C8 or C7 Z06 to the newest, well, to obviously the C8 Z06, the price difference loaded was between $60,000 and $70,000. That may sound like a lot, but if you look back at the C6 Z06, the one that I just purchased, I paid $46,000 for it. But when it was new, it was almost 78. So in 2008, that car was $78,000. That's pretty crazy. If you add in inflation and do all of the adjustment for market and everything like that, you're probably pretty close to what the C8 Z06 is costing today. I know a lot of us don't want to think too much about inflation and stuff like that, but it is something you do have to factor in when you're talking about a car that is 14 years old, still cost 78 grand when it was new. For some reason, I do not remember those cars costing anywhere near that much money, but I have the window sticker for the thing. It's framed. The previous owner, like I said, he's a YouTuber as well. He framed it and put it in the trunk for me. All right, guys. Shane says we have 100 thumbs up currently. Let's go. The Sioka Z06's were 3 hardtop convertibles, I believe. Okay, so those 3 at the end may have been hardtop. It's hard to tell from that angle. We got 100 thumbs up, though, guys. I would love to end these things with 200. We still have about half an hour left of this, but still would be really cool to get 200 of these guys.
Yeah, it does. Inflation does bite.
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, it kind of ruins a lot of the car guy fun that we're having, but G Smith says, how many are they making, you think? So of the Z06, how many are they making? Roughly, they wanted to make roughly 15,000 of these things a year. At this point, I doubt that they're ever going to hit that number, but even if they get close to it, we'll say even 10,000 a year, that's still a significant amount. That's still enough that's really going to probably get everybody a car, but it's not enough to drastically drop the price. So if that's what you're hoping for, I wouldn't bank on that. We need negative inflation. That would be called deflation, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's never going to happen, so it doesn't matter what we call it, I guess. But Jet Driver.
Well, the good news is it's only going to get worse.
Jet Driver says, "Hey Steve, are you going to put some miles on your new C8?"
I almost have 400.
Dude, he has more miles on his car than I have on mine.
I will hit 500 before the end of the week when I get my car out of XPEL, because once it hits 500, I'm taking off. It's gone.
Why don't you just drive up to PA, pick me up, and take me down to Texas? Why?
Because it probably would rain.
Oh, it's definitely going to rain in that drive, no doubt. I thought you weren't going to worry about that.
Oh, please. That's never going to happen, that.
No. Oh, it's worse now. Just think about cleaning that engine bay. I'm like, ah!
Yeah, I know. The one benefit to that, though, I can't fly with this thing or not. I don't think I can, or I'd bring it. I have one of those things that covers up the trunk. So you pop the hatch, you cover up the trunk part, and you can literally just pressure wash it.
Yeah, it'd be nice if somebody would help hook a brother up.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say I've been hooking a brother up.
I've been doing that a lot, yeah. But I have it here. I'll just mail it out to you. I actually have two of them, but they both have HPO stuff on it though, so you'll have to deal with it.
Is it red?
Yeah.
One
I'm
of them's
good.
red, one of them's black.
Yeah.
All right, so Shane says there's no way we're going to hit any major numbers with the Z06's. Yeah, I mean, GM said initially that they wanted to make 15,000 of them a year. If they ever hit 10, I'd be surprised. But if they do, it's relatively reasonable that we'd all get something. So, guys, the first super chat of the night comes from Paul Lemons. Thank you, Paul.
Lemons.
I appreciate it. We appreciate the support. It's awesome. Amber says, Steve, take that back. I'm not sure what she was referring to. We said a lot of things that should have been said.
For sure.
Oh, Brock Phillips. Iron Maiden. Greater than Def Leppard, dude.
I
Ready?
can't
3, 2, 1,
totally
fight.
disagree. I don't agree or disagree because I absolutely
they're both
love
good.
Iron Maiden. Seen them many times live. Absolutely love Def Leppard, but I prefer Def Leppard early as opposed to later, clearly. But I love, so my answer is just yes, either way. I don't care.
Yeah. Mark
Along
D
with
says,
Judas Priest. I mean,
Mark D says, stupid, was the delay COVID or was there a strong wait list? So there's actually a couple different things that were affecting the C8 Z06. COVID caused a supply chain issue, caused a massive surge in interest in this car, it seemed. So those three things combined together have really caused this car to be difficult to get. And because it's being made in such small portions at this point, the hype is real and people are paying way over MSRP to get it early. I mean, it is a crazy mess. It really is. This is a crazy launch of a GM car. I mean, I was just talking to, I think it was Whip earlier. Somebody was emailing back and forth with about how nuts this release has been. It's just, if you can think first, there's no way that you can actually imagine in your head a car that has launched within the last 30 years that was anywhere near this ridiculous. Because this is it. I can think of Porsches, McLarens, Lamborghinis. They've always been kind of difficult to get, but even they haven't been this ridiculous. I don't know what to even say about it most of the time. All Z06's are 670 horsepower, no difference. Yeah, so the horsepower doesn't change if you get a Z06, a 70th anniversary, or a Z07. The horsepower is the same. The only difference is aero, the suspension stiffness, and the tire that it's used. The 70th anniversary editions, I don't think they do have their own VIN sequence, but they might. I don't recall actually if they changed that or not. But I do know that they have a limited amount of them. There's not a whole lot made, and they're only going to be made for 2023 model years. They're not going to be made any further than that. Okay, so let's see. We got a little bit more information to cover, so let's go ahead and jump into that. The one last big one, other than the fact that we have 6 2023 Corvettes at Rick Hendricks. Really cool picture there with the majority of them being black. The next one is an interesting one. This is kind of something we didn't even talk about in the title or the trailer of the live video here. Was kind of a little bit of a teaser for maybe an LT7 engine. Now, a lot of people want to jump to speculation that this means that it's for a C8 ZR1. I still stand by the fact that I don't personally think we're going to get a C7 ZR1 or C8 ZR1. I think it's going to jump straight to a C8 Zora, especially if the rumors are true and the hybrid car coming next is the E-Ray, and that replaces the Grand Sport. If that happens, I really don't see GM giving us a ZR1. I see them jumping straight to a Zora. Either way, this engine, this crate engine here, you can see down the text down in the front. Let me zoom in on this a little bit if I can. where's it at? Here we go. So we can see there, you can actually read where it says LT6 gamma, LT7 beta front. So interesting is that this is implying that this particular crate to ship this engine would work for the LT7 as well. Now, if you guys have kept up with the rumors thus far, you're going to realize that the LT7 is supposed to just be a turbocharged version of the LT6. So if that's the case, yeah, it probably would fit in the same crate. Now, this is the first time that we've seen this. Apparently, previous engines that were shipped did not have that LT7 beta thing on there. So I kind of think that this is GM's way of testing out the shipment of the engine coming for the later C8 Zora, which is obviously going to be a turbocharged version of the Z06. But it's pretty interesting that we're getting something like this early. Again, as usual, or as in normal fashion for the C8 at least, we're teasing all kinds of things before the freaking Z06 is even out yet. So we've already been teased the E-Ray. Now we're getting teased possibly the next car after the E-Ray, which is either going to be a ZR1 or a Zora. But like I said, I'm leaning towards probably the name change just to make it, you know, something totally different. Because the E-Ray, if that replaces the Grand Sport, then obviously Chevy's leaning towards changing the naming scheme up for all of them.
I can't wait to see how bad GM screws up the E-Ray launch, because they've done nothing but screw up everything else.
What's funny though is I have a real good feeling, based on what they need to do with the E-Ray, that launch goes off without a hitch, because the E-Ray is nothing as of now, unless this changes. The E-Ray is nothing more than a base C8 with a Z06 body and a hybrid motor on the front wheels. So they already have all these parts. They don't. I think the biggest problem with the Z06 was the motor or the engine. I think that was where they were running into the biggest problems. But I want to address a question here in the chat real quick. Where did I see that? Come on. Somebody said that this picture didn't have a turbo. Dang it. Somebody said in the chat that in this picture there's no turbos to be seen, and that's accurate. The engine you're looking at right here is an LT6. It's the crate that's telling us that something else is coming, because on the crate down below the LT6 part, it says that it's also an LT7 beta. So basically saying this crate will fit the LT7 as well. The engine we're looking at is not an LT7. That is an LT6 straight out of the new Z06. The LT7 engine will fit in here too, because it's basically the same engine with turbos. That's the rumor. Now, again, we know what we have to say whenever I start talking about speculation. Like, don't run with this stuff, because these are rumors that have been circulating the internet since the launch of the initial C8, that the LT7 engine was going to be the same as the Z06 engine, only with twin turbos. So if that's the case, we're looking at something here in this particular crate that suggests that engine could be shipping relatively soon. So what do you guys think about that, though? I'm curious your thoughts on the Z06 or the ZR1/Zora conversation. Do you think it's something that, based on this image right here, does this look to you like GM is in fact going to use the same kind of crate to ship that engine? Because if it is, I mean, it makes sense to me, because that little designation down there saying that this crate's going to be good for the LT7 too means that once that engine's ready to go, which could be soon, they're going to be able to ship them in that. But curious what you think. So Shane says we got 115 thumbs up, guys. It's pretty good, but we could definitely use more. We got about maybe 15 minutes or so left of the live, so we have a little bit of time to make up. But 115 of these things we could use. If we could end with 200 of them, it'd be really, really freaking cool. 2020 Matrix 8 says there will be a ZR1. It will have a package called Zora, kind of like the Z07 package on the Z06. That's not a bad thought, but if they're going to call it a ZR1, why wouldn't they call it the ZTK package again, just like they did with the C7? I still stand by the fact that I think GM's going to skip right over the ZR1 and go straight to a Zora. It makes the most name moniker sense. Now, again, this is speculation. I'm not saying 100% that this is how it's going to be. This is just my opinion based on what we have seen so far with the E-Ray kind of replacing the Grand Sport and everything. That's kind of where I'm thinking that's at. All right, looks like we got 120 thumbs up currently. That's pretty cool. Let's get that a little bit higher though. When you keep the Z06 for 6 months and receive $5,000 from GM, what would you possibly spend that on? So BPR Z06, there's a couple things you want to understand with that, and I bet you most people don't know this. That $5,000 is via GM award points. So this is not something they don't just hand you a check for $5,000 and you can go spend it on whatever you want. You have two options. Those points are good for buying GM accessories or paying your payment for your car through GM Financial only. So if you finance the car through GM Financial, you can use those points to pay your payment or buy GM accessories. That's it. You're not using those points for anything else. So keep that in mind. It sounds like a pretty cool thing until you read the fine print.
So basically, if you're buying a $100-something thousand car, you get 2 months worth of payments for free because that's what it's going to cost.
If you finance it through GM Financial, which in my experience, I didn't really love GM Financial whenever I financed my C8 through there. Now, your mileage may vary, but okay, it was Luke Walsh about the turbo. Yeah, it was just a crate, not the engine. The engine is definitely not a twin turbo. 125 thumbs up, guys. That's awesome. Let's get that a little bit higher. I would love to see 200 before the end of the night. No, you're not going to pay your electric bill with those GM points. Paul says, hey guys, better late than never. Welcome aboard, Paul. We have been talking a little bit about the Z06, its new allocations coming out in November. Some of the cars being delivered to dealerships, soon to be delivered to some end users this week. And the new shipping crate that kind of suggests that we might be getting a ZR1 or a Zora engine here pretty soon. So definitely pretty cool. So as you can see there, the fine print in the front says LT6 Gamma and LT7 Beta. So it's kind of implying that both those engines will fit in that specific shipping crate. Yeah, 11-second Eclipse says, I'd buy the C8R looking car cover. I actually really like that too, and Jason should definitely buy that because his car's already yellow.
Yep. Or maybe I can get Rob at Corvette World to donate one to me when one comes in on a car this week.
You might.
That'd be really awesome. Those covers are like $900 or something crazy.
Holy crap.
Woo!
Yeah,
he did give me one a while back for my Z06.
Yeah?
Yeah. Of course, I bought the Z06 from there as well, so, you know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Angelo says turbos always causes... I'm guessing he's saying there's always an issue with a turbo car because he has one and there's always an issue with it. Yeah, so Fat Bananas, he says, we saw CAD images on the forums of the twin turbo LT7 way back before the Stingray reveal. Yes, we did. That's what we're talking about. Stupid Fast Truck says you can buy one of those crate engines, just add another $65K. Yep, that sounds about right. So, guys, thumbs up. Looks like we're at 130 right now. Shane keeps letting us know, and that's awesome. Got to appreciate that man for what he does. Poll for presenters. How many Corvettes have you owned? Personally, I have had 1, 2, 3. I've had 4. No, wait. 5. I've owned 5 Corvettes. How many have you guys had?
Trace.
3.
Okay, so 5, 3, and 3. I had a C7 Z06 2015. My C7 ZR1 is a 2019. I had a 2000 C5 Corvette. I have a 2008 C6 Z06 right now, and I had my 2020 C8. So I had 5 altogether. What would the horsepower be with twin turbos? It is rumored to be, I think it was 800 plus a front hybrid assist motor, which would kick it up to an even 1,000.
1,000.
Yeah. The Brobarian says, just hit the like button. That's all it is. Just click it. It's free. It doesn't hurt.
Nope.
If you hit that like
Feels
button,
good.
it does. It feels real good. It makes all of us feel good too. So click that like button. Let us know you're liking the content so we can keep doing this stuff for you guys.
Man, a
Shane,
68. That would be awesome.
Shane says the C8 will be my first cherry breaker Corvette. Haha. Oh, that's funny. Well, Stupid Fast Trucks had eight Corvettes for that man. Steve Robertson has had 4. That's awesome. I honestly, as a kid, I never thought I'd even be able to say I ever owned 1. So the fact that I've had 5 in really the last like 3 years, that's a fantastic thing to be able to say.
Mm-hmm.
Jose Watkins says the first one for him was C7 Z06. I'm guessing, this is just a random guess here, that is Watkins Glen Gray that you own.
Yeah, that's a very good.
If he comes back and says that it is,
assumption.
I'll have to show you. Yeah, I'll have to show you guys my magic trick that I was able to pull right there.
So I want to say this because of Steve. I did a video with the C7 and the C8, and I asked how many people prefer the C7 over the C8 or something to that effect. And I swear it was like 70-30 C7 to C8 as far as people who prefer the C7 over the C8.
Yeah, and I've noticed the same, but there's got to be a reason for that, because I also notice on like Facebook and Instagram, for the most part, a lot of people going nuts for the C8, whereas I never saw that amount of love that I can recall, at least, for the C7. Now, you do have to remember the C7 at this point is the old Corvette. So you're not going to see that amount of love necessarily now because it's not new. But when it was new, I don't remember people going as crazy for it as they are with the C8. And it's odd because my findings are the same as Jason's, where the majority of people, and I ran a poll on my forum or on my YouTube community tab maybe a year ago, asking the same question, C7 or C8, and it was something like 75-25 said C7.
So I think the one of the reasons is because I just looked up the numbers and I knew they were really high. It says of the nearly 200,000 C7s produced. So you've got 200,000 people plus, others who have bought and sold versus how many of our C8s have been made. So you have a lot more people that are familiar with that car as opposed to how, the handful, we'll say, of people with the C8. But the biggest complaint that I've seen on the C8 is one that I've seen more than once, quite a few times, is people complain about something that can be a pro or a con, is that the car drives you as opposed to you driving the car. It has so much assistance in it that you don't really, it's not really what you're doing, it's what the car's doing for you.
Yeah, and I mean, like we've talked about this 100 times off camera. That is a pro and a con.
Right.
There's really not much that I would say negative about the C8. I think overall it is a total improvement over the C7, but there are some things that you're going to prefer on the C7 over the C8 or vice versa. I mean, it really depends on how you prefer to drive your cars, but and that's another one. Jet Driver says there's no manual option, and that's, I know that this is a touchy subject for a lot of people out there. Manual transmissions, for the manual transmission guys, that is a very important thing. And I understand, the automatic guys don't necessarily agree, and that's fine. You don't have to, but just understand that the manual transmission guys, we have a thing. Okay. That's our thing. And when we don't have that thing, we get sad.
Yeah. But that said, if our economy keeps going in this direction, as opposed to this direction or this direction, I may sell the C7 because I could practically pay off my house, unless, of course, the car market completely tanks. Then I'm debt free. You know what I mean? I don't know. I have to take that into consideration because the C8 is brand new. It has a warranty, all the things that, I'm concerned about as our economy.
Yeah. the warranty thing by itself would be reason enough.
Mhm. Yep.
But 11-second Eclipse says that yes, I'd buy a manual in the Z06 if it were available. That's again
Oh, yeah.
big thing. Paper Tiger's on here. I wanted to say hi to him. He's actually the one that did a video on my TRX recently. The video did really well
Nice.
for his YouTube channel. You guys should check it out.
Yeah.
What's the top of the line C8 going to cost? Well over 200,000. I have a hard time seeing those values hold at that price. You can buy a Ferrari or a Lambo for that price. Yeah. This is kind of a concern from the very beginning. Whenever the C8 first started coming out, announcing the or I guess leaking or rumoring the performance variants. Once you get up to the Zora model, you are looking at a car that's going to be $200,000 plus. And at that point, you really have to ask yourself a question as a car guy. Is that something you want to spend on a Corvette, or is that something you want to maybe take to, Lamborghini or Ferrari or Porsche? A lot of us are going to say right off the bat, no, I'd never do that. I love my Corvettes. You do, until you're sitting there with $200,000 in your hand wondering, do I love them that much?
Yep.
I personally, I do, but at the same time, like, you should definitely check out other cars at that price. I mean, at that price, it's kind of hard to say for sure that the Corvette's the better car. Now, whenever I drive my ZR1 or Jason drives his C7 Z06, that car for the price will just dominate a good bit of the supercars out there. But at $200,000, $300,000, does the Corvette still dominate the supercars in that same price range? And that's to be seen. But we'll see. Corvettes are usually pretty good at dominating supercars that are 3 or 4 times their price. So when the C6 or when the C8 Z06 finally gets some track numbers and stuff like that, if it's dominating McLarens and Porsches and Ferraris, then forget everything I just said, because it is worth it at that point. Shane says we got 155 thumbs ups. Could use a little bit more, guys. We're going to start wrapping this up here pretty soon, so I'd like to see a little bit more thumbs up. Would be really cool. What if there was no auto option? Will they be upset then? Yes, honestly, I don't want to take away any options from anybody. I don't want a car that's available without an auto or available without a manual. I think if we have our options, we all win. If you want an automatic, you can get it. If I want a manual, I can get it. There's nobody's mad, nobody's upset. We all got what we wanted.
Yeah, like I love the manual in my C7, but like I said to you, if I had a choice right now, I'd buy the dual clutch. I love it. I think it's just faster. And when you're stuck in Texas traffic, and I got stuck thinking I still had a manual for the clutch, but it's way better. I mean, it's just different kind of car, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is, I think I told Steve this before. And as far as I'm concerned, you got your in order of fun transmissions to drive. For me, it's manual transmission, dual clutch automatic, and then your typical converter transmission. I can't what the heck I'm looking for now, but basically the dual clutch is almost as good as a manual transmission. And sometimes it even feels like you're kind of driving a manual based on how it reacts. It will drift back and stuff when it's in gear and whatnot. It feels a lot like a manual transmission. So we got 160 thumbs ups, guys. We could use a couple more before we sign off. Would be pretty cool. Dual clutches are awesome. Front seat driver says, if you buy a Ferrari when you want to be somebody, you buy a Corvette when you are somebody.
Zora. Okay. None of that actually ever happened, but I thought it was funny because, it was actually Frank Sinatra said it about Lamborghini, but,
yeah. I was going to say, I knew I'd heard that somewhere, but that's why.
Yeah. Dude, I can't wait for that Lamborghini movie. I got to be honest with you. I'm ready to go see it. Lamborghini Houston invited me, but I'm like, I'm not driving 4 hours to go see that movie for free.
Is it out?
No, it'll be out. I think it's the 15th, but.
Okay.
No, but if you're talking about inflation and stuff, I sent it to Jason this morning. Lamborghini is sold out until 2024. like all their allocations. So
Yeah, yes and no. I've heard this before. I'm not going to drop any names, but I know if you know somebody, you can get one.
you can get something. You can get a C8 early too if you know somebody, or you want to pay for it.
I know a lot of somebodies, and no one wants to give me a Z06 early, so I don't know that that's necessarily true. 165 thumbs ups, guys. Be pretty cool if we got a little bit more than that, but we appreciate all of you guys tuning in tonight, sitting through our car guide talk, our Corvette Weekly. Last time I want to mention this, guys, over here to my right, to your left, it is the Vets for Vets car show. It will be happening in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Myself, Jason, and Steve will all be in attendance. We will be at the show. It benefits the veterans. It's free to come out, and your donations are welcome to, like I said, benefit those veterans. So you should definitely come out and say hi, bring out your Corvettes, spend some time out there for a good cause, and look at some cool cars. So all the information, like I said, is on my right. It is on your left. The information is there on the date, the time, the location. It's all there. So if you come out, definitely just stop by, say hi to me and Jason and Steve. Vet Syndicate will be represented in full fashion. But I think that's about it, guys. Looks like 167 thumbs up currently. We could definitely use a couple more before we sign off, but we are going to start wrapping this up. For those of you who have joined late, we talked a lot about the C8 Corvette Z06, the deliveries of the Z06, the fact that we're getting some more allocations at the end of this month, or the middle of this month, I'm sorry. So November 16th-ish, we're going to hear some more information about some new allocations, so you could possibly get this car. We also talked about some engine crates shipping with an LT6 in it, but were marked with LT7s as if they would be okay to ship in the same crates. So it looks like GM's already starting to test out some shipping components for their next performance variant, whether that's the ZR1 or the Zora is to be seen, but either way, it's coming probably sooner than you think. But I think that's going to do it for tonight, guys. NA High RPM says that I sound like Matt Farah. That is, you are the fourth person to tell me that since I've started my channel. I wish that I saw that same thing, because I love Matt Farah. I think he's one of the coolest dudes, but I don't think I sound like him. I sound like nobody I've ever heard before, but I appreciate that. That is a compliment. Regardless of how you meant it, it is a compliment. We got 168 thumbs up, says Shane. But yeah, guys, thank you. I see a lot of people thanking us, but thank you for tuning in, guys. What do you guys think?
It was a great night. Can't wait till we're all together next week, or this week, actually. And the weather's going to be great.
It's going to be, what, 2 more days. I'm going to be down in Texas, guys. You'll see a bunch of videos. We're going to be doing live stuff all the time. I'm going to be doing live videos for my iPhone just whenever I feel like it.
Here's Jason eating dinner.
Yeah. But Jason's still sleeping. Let's go in and wake him up with a leaf blower.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. We will catch you probably next Monday night. We might do it next Sunday night just because I'll still be at Jason's place. So we'll keep you up to date. But either way, thanks for tuning in, guys. We will catch you next week.